Good to go.
Thank you. I will call this January 11th, 2022, the Lawrence County Salary Board order. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Russellheim.
Here.
Commissioner Spielvogel.
Here.
Commissioner Vogler.
Here.
Commissioner Boyd.
Here. Thank you. The quorum, any public comments? Seeing none, we have the minutes from the annual January 3rd, 2022. I might have said 2021, not January 11th. But January 3rd, 2022 Salary Board meeting. Give my colleagues here a minute to check that over and take a motion to approve the minutes or make any changes as necessary and expedient.
I will move to accept them.
I'll second. Motion is second. Any further discussion? All right. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. On to the resolutions. First on deck, our esteemed district attorney, Josh Lee Macusi here, for something I'm very excited about. I know my colleagues share the same sentiment as it relates to improving our mental health services. So Josh, always good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you very much.
What do we have going on?
The resolution before you is a resolution to create an additional, what's been titled previously as a co-responder position. This is an individual who responds along with the police, not in a law enforcement capacity, but responds with the police to address mental health issues that they encounter. It is a position that is fully funded by NHMR. At least the first position was. The second position will also be fully funded by NHMR. This position itself has already paid dividends. Initially, we wanted to create the co-responder position and hire two people. I did not feel comfortable hiring two right off the bat. We wanted to get one out there, make sure the program works, and work out the kinks. This is a program that was tried or is being tried by two other counties in the state of Pennsylvania. Their model is a little bit different than ours. We sent our co-responder out to those jurisdictions and we did ride-alongs with them. Their model is based upon assigning a mental health advocate to a particular turn or to a particular officer. The problem that we found with that was the officers get called to a variety of calls. So it's not just mental health calls. And a lot of the time that mental health advocate was being wasted at a burglary call or criminal trespass, retail theft. So what we decided to do was create a model where they worked through the district attorney's office and they were on call. And anytime a police officer anywhere in the county encounters a situation where a mental health advocate is needed, they call the 911 center. We work that through with Jeff Parrish. The 911 center dispatches our person directly to the scene and they go. The position itself cuts the police responsibilities at the scene, speeds up the process. And when I say cuts the police responsibilities, what happens to a police officer when they get to a mental health call is obviously they have to deal with whatever the emergency is at that moment. Once that emergency has been dealt with, if it is a situation where someone is suffering from mental health issues, that police officer has to take that person to the hospital to be evaluated. Well, this whole process, including the time of evaluation, the officer has to remain at the hospital, which sucks up between 4 to 6 hours of their shift time. Now, for smaller departments that have limited manpower, or even the city of Newcastle that has larger manpower, it's still taking an officer out of rotation, and that really affects the workload and the availability of police officers throughout their jurisdictions. The co-responder is able to take over the case once the police officer gets that person to the hospital and then can follow them through the mental health side. That is one component of the job. The other component is there doesn't seem to be, or at least there's a breakdown in follow-up with a lot of people suffering from mental health issues. So what's happening is if the police respond to a scene and it's not something where someone is going to be committed, well, there's a recommendation that they seek mental health. There's no follow-up. There's no one tracking that case or ensuring that they go. Our co-responder then, we have a database where we begin tracking every call, every case that we respond to, and then we are following up with those individuals. We're following up to the point where we are holding their hand, getting them into appointments, making sure they go to the appointments. And in some cases, although not necessarily to my knowledge, sometimes we transport just people don't have rides, so we're trying to get them there. These positions, this position we initially have, we have become overwhelmed in the sense that I have one person on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She cannot handle the workload. Though she is doing a fantastic job, I've received letter after letter. I even forwarded a letter on which
Yes.
the family tributes her with saving their son's life. We have seen multiple cases like this. So the position itself is filling a gap in our community to address some mental health concerns that often intersect with law enforcement. It also keeps people out of the criminal justice system, which keeps people out of our jail, which keeps them from facing charges of a lower level just to address the mental health concerns. So we are filling a gap that is much needed to be addressed, at least in our community. And the creation of the second position, which again is fully funded by MHMR, so the county is not going to incur any additional costs. That's the gist of the resolution.
First thing I want to comment on is I just want to thank you and your office for the work that you've put in getting this program off the ground. You mentioned that you forwarded that letter to us. I had the opportunity to talk to the individual that occupies that position a couple of days ago, and just listen to some of the stories that she told. From an anecdotal point of view, you can see that position's really having an impact on our community. Empirically, how many cases has she responded? How many cases she responded to since the creation of the position?
I don't, and I say I don't because it depends. That was one of the things that we had to redefine how we were tracking these cases, because what's happening now is the 911 center is dispatching us to police calls, but they're also dispatching us to mental health calls. And so it's a situation where, are we tracking the calls that are coming in? Are we tracking the actual visits? I should have good numbers in about 6 months that will show us exactly the differentiation between the types of calls we're responding to and the services that we are providing, because they're different based upon situations. Also, we did send a correspondent to every police department. They have met with every police officer in the county through the different shifts, through their chiefs, and presented exactly what it is we do and how we can help them.
She's doing just a phenomenal job. I know the individual who currently occupies that position is working very hard to make sure that our at-risk and at-need residents have access to the services they need. The only other thing I'll add, this is a credit to you and your department, as well as mental health and developmental services. To my understanding, this position is one of the first positions like this in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Under this model, it is the only one in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In comparison to the other 67 counties, there are 2 that have a similar, but again, from our vantage point, this is the most efficient way to use this type of position to use this individual benefit community. And I would like to thank Scott Baldwin. Scott Baldwin was and is a driving force to mental health, fitness awareness in our community. He was really pushing this position, and obviously the commissioners were seeing the need for this and appreciating it. So thank you.
Absolutely. I just want to make mention that Lawrence County is leading the way here. And that is because of you, because of Scott, and because of the teams in both of those offices. But I'll turn it over to my colleagues for any questions or comments they may have.
Thank you. Good morning, Josh.
Morning, Commissioner.
Just a couple technical questions. Who are the other 2 counties that you're referencing, to your recollection?
I want to say Dauphin and Luzerne are the 2.
Which, of course, are much larger than us as well.
Much
Both
larger.
of them. Yeah.
Much larger.
Okay, thank you. The definition of position being fully funded, and I noticed that's in bold letters.
Yes.
I assume that includes not only the salary, but the benefits as well?
Yes, it does. FICA, the insurance, full salary, and there is even a mental health budgeted in a one-time amount that will cover the cost of equipment, computer, radio. I mean, our radios are $6,000 a
Right.
radio. So mental health is covering the full ticket, so there will be no additional request or cost to the county.
Thank you very much. And then finally, just I think for purposes of accuracy, I'd like to request that the references in the resolution to mental health and mental retardation be changed to mental health and developmental services, if we could, please.
Sure.
Other than that, I'm fine, and I thank you.
I apologize for.
No apology necessary.
That's what the name used to be.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
My comments you know, my background, a police officer and actually sitting on the CCAP, our state organization, the Behavioral Health Task Force, that the mental health issues are so to the forefront of everything. To know that we're doing something that is so innovative, because it's unlike any other program that there is any other type of anything in existence. And knowing that the co-responder that is there right now, that she has just embraced this so much that she actually feels that she's not making the impact that she needs to. She has no clue, you know, working in that field in you know, with police work for many, many years, the bar is very, very low to be able to offer the time alone and the expertise to know where to go next. And the key thing is, like you said before, and I think it makes us unique, is the follow-up and the follow-through. And I know that she is tracking that, and that is happening. And it is key. You know, everybody can be there and make those appointments and say, okay, you're going here, you're going there, services for this, services for that. 9 times out of 10, we know what happens, and they know. In a crisis situation, yes, we'll do it, but after that, forget it. The fact that she is doing that is phenomenal. I had the opportunity to attend our the Fraternal Order of Police for the City of Newcastle, attend our annual dinner last week, and the co-responder asked me to ask the officers how they felt about it and how it was going and what was going on. First of all, number one, to have somebody extra to have there. Number two, to have them be able to take that 2-hour stint at the hospital so that they can be released for something else. And the fact that, and to me, because it was always, you know, the afternoon, the midnight calls, the weekend calls, that's where you had a lot of the mental health calls come in. No, to know that they are happening 24/7, daylight, an extreme amount of mental health calls to me, which shows the just the changing of the tides of the mental health situation, that it's a continuous, constant thing. To know that another person is going to be dedicated to doing that. Are there kinks? Sure, there are. Working things out, absolutely. But the fact that she, number one, is there wanting to address those situations, and then number two, having somebody else to do provide additional services at different points in time is just phenomenal. I would there will never be enough mental health services available to people as far as I'm concerned, but to know that we are at the forefront and leading the path with that, I think that we deserve a pat on the back. Everybody involved in it, you know, from the least to the most, that we are that informed and that in tune to what's happening and going on. So thank you, credit to you, to SCLAD, to everyone, just like you said.
And if
Yes.
I could say, we also did link this position to the other entities, so drug and alcohol.
Yeah.
There's weekly meetings that everyone's in the room. So we're making sure that not only are we not stepping on each other's toes, and we're not duplicating work efforts, we're making sure that nothing's falling through the cracks.
Mr. Controller,
I do have a question on the resolution.
this is why you're a member of the board.
We give the accolades, you have to do with whatever else is going on.
The top part of the resolution acknowledges the co-responder position. The bottom part then distinguishes between the co-responder 2 and the co-responder 1.
So what I would be doing when I make the formal resolution, I would be asking for 3 things. One, I would be asking to redesignate the original co-responder position to be a co-responder 1 position.
Okay.
The creation of the new position to be a co-responder 2
So
position.
the 2 is given with 50,000.
That's correct. And then the third part of the resolution is to request the increase in pay for the supervisory authorities of the co-responder 1 position.
The $5,000, is that before or after the cost of living?
However, you guys have done it in the past.
Make that clear.
Yeah, it's working.
Thank you.
Certainly. Anything else in terms of form and shape of the resolution?
No, I think we're good.
All right, what number is this, Vanessa?
17.
17. Any additional comments from the board? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve salary board resolution 2022-17.
So moved. Sorry, I was like,
We've all been there. We've all been there.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
District Attorney Lynn Makusa.
yes.
Controller Prestopine.
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Josh, for all
Thank
you
you
do.
I will have someone fill this immediately
Thank
and get to work.
Get to work.
Thank you.
Next on deck for what will be Salary Board Resolution 2022-18. This relates to setting the base salary for the soon-to-be named Director of Voter Services at a rate of $60,000 with benefits, which shall become effective January 10th, 2022. Not that matters as much as no one occupies the position right now. But this salary is in line with what other counties are paying for similar positions. And we make an adjustment just because it's been a while since that base salary was changed. When the prior occupant came on board in the late 2000s, I believe it was late 2000s. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone. Any questions or comments on this? I'll also note it's in line with what other department heads start at in different departments of the county. I'll take a motion to approve salary, I'll take a motion to approve salary board resolution 2022-18.
So move.
Second.
Motion is second, any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Prestopine.
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Up next, this is a much needed bump in salary. The individual occupying the position of Deputy Director of Voter Services, considering the wide range of services that they perform and the fact that they're here, especially around election time, consistently working, upwards of 12 or more hours. It's the individual occupying this position was underpaid. I don't think it's a stretch to say that. And so we're bumping that position up to $45,000 a year with benefits effective January 10th, 2022. The January 10th, 2022 thing is because it's the start of the pay period. So it's easier for, it's easier for your
Yes, it
purposes.
is. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Any questions or comments on this?
Just to note for the record, this is a non-union position. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I do have one thing.
We got
Just for clerical reasons, it reads the base salary set at 45,000. We can add to that the base salary and the current salary set at 45,000.
Sure.
Just because the base salary is going to stay the same going along, and for that way the current employee in that position gets the salary also.
absolutely, which is the goal.
Yes, correct.
So we'll make those changes. Anything else? Is the form and manner of the resolution good for you?
Yep.
All right, we'll take we'll take a motion to approve.
So,
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Prestopine.
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel.
yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2022-20, again, out of our elections office, with a changing of the guard in that office, or maybe a restructuring of the guard in that office would be more appropriate. The office itself needs a minor restructuring. We're getting rid of a technology manager position and creating a sure operator position. The individual who we intend to install as the director of elections will still handle the technology management. And that individual is also requested in lieu of a technology manager, and due to the increased demands of that office, that a second sure operator position be created at the rate set by the CBA. So it's a net neutral effect on positions. It's actually a little bit of a cost savings in terms of salary. Questions, comments on the resolution? Seeing none. Dave, is the form good for you?
Yep, looks good to me.
I'll take a motion to approve salary board resolution 2022-20.
Motion. I'll second.
Okay.
We have a motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Prestopine.
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Up next, human resources. Again, this is one of those scenarios where we're trying to get to a more, I want to say, the word's not fair, but I'll use the word fair, a more fair pay grade for the individual who occupies the deputy director of human resources position. And so we're setting the base salary and the current salary.
There we go, giant.
At $42,795.50 with benefits, effective January 10th, again, for the same reason as discussed, that starting pay period. I will note that moving forward, it might not be the worst idea to really do an in-depth study of what other fifth-class counties are paying like positions, not only looking at what they're paying the positions, but also looking at the specific duties that those counties have laid out for those positions, just to make sure that, number one, we're competitive with other counties of our size, and number two, that salaries specifically for deputy positions, director positions, and other non-union positions are set at reasonable rates. I know a number of other counties have a salary schedule or that it shows, as you progress in years, this is what you get. As you come on board, this is what you get. So, to me, these are very much deserved and very much warranted. At the same time, I think we really need to get a little bit more scientific, just moving forward with how we determine salaries specifically for non-union employees. Any questions or comments on the motion or on the resolution? 21. Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve salary board resolution 2022-21.
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
We have a motion to second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next up, same concept here.
Mhm.
Deputy Director of Maintenance being bumped up to a base salary and current salary of $38,899.38. Again, same exact rationale. Any questions or comments on this?
No.
Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve salary board resolution 2022-22.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion, and I'll note that it's base salary plus current salary. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Up next, same type of concept, base salary plus current salary for deputy chief clerk set at $45,000 with benefits. I'll note that when the current board came online, and actually a little bit before the current board came online, there were almost double the amount of staff working out of the office of the commissioners. We've since consolidated, both the former board and current board have consolidated that down now to two full-time members of staff who are also taking on some additional duties as they relate to the office of the commissioner. This is very much warranted. Our office staff goes above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that the office runs smoothly, that the constituents are taken care of, and that whenever I fumble motions or resolutions or agendas, that everything is fixed before most of the time before it hits the meetings. So thank you for all that you do, Vanessa. Any questions or comments? I'll take a motion to approve salary board resolution 2022-23.
I'll make the motion.
We
Second.
have motion second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And finally, we have our chief assessor, J.R. Hardister, with us today. Director Hardister is requesting 2022-24. We are looking at adding a second professional appraisal position to the Office of Assessment for Lawrence County at a base salary of $25,000. The employee will receive an additional $7,000 is built into their base or current salary once they receive their CPE license. I will note that this doesn't create a negative or positive net effect on the number of positions in that office. It will stay net neutral as it is I understand that the chief assessor intends to move one of his current employees into this position, if salary board so decides to create it. Are there any questions, and because it's technical, and thank you, JR, for coming today, are there any questions or comments on
So
it?
non-union position?
Mr. Prestipine, unless I've missed it, should there be a reference to benefits in this document?
You could, I mean, maybe it's a full-time position, they're entitled to benefits, but putting it in there doesn't hurt anything.
I'd ask that we do, because I think most of the other resolutions state that, so I think for consistency, I ask for that. Thank you.
That's what amended, we'll say it's amended to, where pertinent, put in with benefits, and Dave, you can decide what where pertinent means. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve salary board resolution 2022-24.
So moved.
Support Josh. Do we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes,
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Any new business to be brought to the attention of the salary board? Any additional public comments? Seeing none, almost perfect timing. Salary board is adjourned.
Nick, I'll give you my packet. The document that Mr. Lamatusa was referring to, however, is not in it. He took it with him. So if you need it,
He can have mine.
oh, okay,
Sure,
now we're covered.
absolutely.
Can you give me 2 minutes? I'll be back.